Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Blunders and Bothwellians, the Wounded Witch edition. This is the Sunday party, let there be fire. No, actually having a lovely happy time. They are in the gnomish capital in the country of Amley. They're in the capital Regal and they are celebrating. There is going to be a week-long festival celebrating the engagement and the wedding now of Arissa's brother, and he is going to be getting married to Prince Alcyn Pike, who has an interesting history with Arissa, but all seems forgotten and forgiven, and everyone is celebrating this week. First, we are going to go back to Neckles Knickknacks, where the party have gathered. Kess is now in the back room attending to her zombie, and the rest of them are going to be having a little look around the shop to see what is occurring. So we join the party back again now. Hello!
Shopping trip.
I love the fact that I come back in. Shopping trip, yes, that is pretty much where we're starting.
Yay!
The only way it could be any better is if there was a spa. Although, to be fair, there probably is one, knowing the fact that Arissa has lived here.
Yeah.
So basically, you guys, word slowly trickled to your ears, Arissa, and those of you who are left in the palace speaking with Arissa's family and the prince and entertaining yourselves. I believe Belgarath was chuckling into his fist, so as not to laugh outwardly, about Arissa's past relationship with the prince, the lovely gnome who's very, very handsome, who was apparently accidentally kidnapped by Arissa. But
it wasn't kidnapping.
It totally wasn't kidnapping. It was a total misunderstanding, and he has shaken hands, made amends, and her name has been cleared. She is no longer completely distrusted around the royal family members. Although the gnome guards do sort of eye you just a little bit anytime you go anywhere, Arissa, just a tiny little bit. But other than that, you're all hunky-dory. However, word does trickle to your ears that Kess caused a little bit of ruckus in town. Her zombie went walkabout, and she went after it, and got into a bit of a dispute back and forth with a gnome known as Knackles. Arissa, you have heard of Knackles. He runs a shop called Neckles Knickknacks, the subheading of which is Embrace Your Curiosity. You were always warned.
It's called Nick Knackles.
Nick Knackles. Because he's not a clever gnome. He is a tinkerer, an inventor, and a collector of random items, but not very good at wordplay. You were warned as a small child to never go in there and to never buy anything from him.
That doesn't mean we can't take anything from him.
Arissa. But good, but Arissa. So that is what you'll remember from your past here.
I stole the prince.
Yes, Arissa, you need to build your reputation back. I'm not gonna lead the player. So do what you will. So you hear word that most of the rest of your party, including Kess, are there, and make your way through the city to go and speak to them. The prince, your brother, your family, Arissa, have a lot of things to attend to. The royal family are also getting things ready, etc. And you decide not to question what your brother and the prince are off to when they skip off holding hands and hurriedly you hear a door slamming upstairs to what you know to be the prince's bedchamber. You don't question it, and leave the palace in your comrades' company. Go through the city where everyone is quite merry and cheerful. The crowds around the gates have started to disperse. Everyone's going back to their day, setting up for this festival, which is going to be a week long. Indy got a face full of glitter. Yes, Indy did. So we'll jump into this story where Indy, wiping glitter from your eyes, overhear an argument between Kess and a sort of middle-aged gnome with big round glasses which have a lot of extra lenses on them so that he can peer at things really closely. They argue back and forth for a little while. Kess is very angry, persuasive and shadowy. Some gold exchanges hands and the zombie is handed back to Kess, who then insists that, well, you damaged it, for goodness sake! So Kess now spends some time in the back room repairing her zombie. Knackles, the little gnome, comes trotting out, counting the gold, and puts some of it in his pockets and some of it in the till, and comes out to greet the rest of you, just as the door opens, and you all, the rest of you who were not in there previously, come in, or in Airrill's case, fly in. Also, Airrill is now a woman, for reasons some of you are not entirely sure. Indy is fairly certain she knows what's up. Yeah, Enna is fairly sure she knows what's up. But everyone else just, yeah.
Arissa hasn't even noticed.
Arissa has not even noticed. Airrill and Enna and Indy went off a little earlier in the day and tested out some of the beginning bits of the festival while they waited for this argument between Kess and the gnome to be over, and then came back. And Indy got some more glitter to the face because they thought someone was coming in and triggered the trap on the door once again. However, you guys are all now back in there. Indy snorts glitter out of her nose as per the gift that has just been shared, which is probably the most beautiful thing I've seen in a little while. And you now find yourselves in the shop, Knackles Knickknacks. Embrace your curiosity in front of Knackles the Gnome himself. That was an interesting sentence. Knackles the Gnome. I'm going to have to say that a lot. Who says, welcome to my shop, Knackles Knickknacks. Anything you're looking for today? And he hops up and perches himself on a stool just behind the cabinet, which has his till on it. And he sort of swings his legs back and forth, looking at you all with a big grin on his face. And he has forgotten to lift the lenses off of his glasses, so he's now staring at you with these big bug eyes coming out through these massive lenses in front of him.
Arissa's just going to be like looking around, thinking, why wasn't I allowed in here?
As you're looking around, you see various different items. You can see...
sorry, Rosie, just to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Did we have an opportunity in the last session to rest and recover, like, spell slots and...
Yes. Yes, while you were sitting at the palace, you had time to rest, recuperate, etc. Oh, yes.
Cool, there you go.
There is also a website, which I believe is probably about to be shared once again by Airrill. Meme generators, so go crazy. As you're going through the session today, feel free to add memes to your heart's content. Nope, I'm not sorry either. Both me and the Tuesday party and the Sunday party have had plenty of fun with these as the days have gone on, so please feel free to add your own memes, and if they're particularly amazing, I will download them and add them to the to the video as we're coming through. So picture the memes begin. So you can look around the shop, you can see various different items. Meme 1. There we go, off to a ripping start. So, looking around the shop, it is cluttered. There is absolutely no organisation to it whatsoever. Everything is sort of piled up in various places. There are piles of what looks like rags in baskets spilling out onto the floor. You can see the odd pair of socks. Some of them really long and stretched with multicoloured like bobbles and dots and designs all over them. Can't tell you that, no investigation check. There's lines of things across the back wall as well. There are strange tanks that seem to be full of glitter of various different colours. There are seashells, there are bags, there are bottles that are smoking, all strange different colours. There are helmets, random pieces of armour, some of which look completely tattered and unwearable, some of which have been broken apart and broken down into new things. There's, at first glance, what looks like a ball of yarn, but as you get closer to it, you realise that it looks more like a ball of metal. There are books, there is jewellery, there are large strips of fabric hanging up on the walls, and there are some staffs and staves and things hanging in the corner, and there is also, right next to the counter, a box full of squeaky toys.
Could I pixie dust the box of squeaky toys?
Sure. Do you want to pixie dust the squeaksy toys themselves, or would you like to pixie dust the whole box?
I'd like to pixie dust the whole box and try to flip it off the shelf, but without like the box falling necessarily.
Okay. You managed to lift it all up. Sorry, I just saw the meme that Indy shared. Yeah, there's a box, and they're all different shapes and sizes. Some of them are shaped like cakes, some of them are shaped like donuts, some of them are shaped like bones, some of them are shaped like steak, some of them are shaped like little tiny creatures like squirrels and stuff, and they are all multicoloured and they all squeak. yeah, he'll just sort of look around at you all, having a peer, and he'll say, "Just browsing, or can I help you with anything particular?"
Indy's just going to slowly raise a finger to point at her face and go, "And what in particular is this that you introduced me to?"
What's she pointing at?
The glitter.
Ah. Well, that is of my own concoction. Hasn't been completely tested yet, but just a pinch. And that should do some interesting things for you. Might be helpful in combat, etc.
Define useful.
Well, if you take a pinch of this, and he points at the glitter and the huge tank across the back, then throw it. Then it should encompass you and 10 feet around you with complete and utter invisibility. Unless, of course, the wind changes, in which case the invisibility goes wherever the wind goes.
Wonderful. However, how come I am not invisible now with a face full of it?
Ah! Yes, that is another one of my own concoction. This, and he sort of wipes a bit off your face with a finger. This is, well, and he licks it, actually edible. And this is quite literally just a intruder deterrent. I find most burglars do not like looking all sparkly, as it tends to throw off their allure, as it were.
She just scowls.
He gives you, like, the biggest smile ever.
Airrill would pitch in. Indy, your face is invisible. There's glitter all over it, so I don't see your face. It works.
See? See? Ah, fantastic. You're my new marketing strategist, I see. Excellent. He starts taking notes. Face full of glitter means face invisible. Genius!
Did sound cut out for anybody else there?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. So I'm not the only one.
But yeah, so is there anything in the shop that draws anyone's fancy?
Could I take a look around if there's anything that draws Lady Airrill's fancy now?
You can look at everything in general, and I can run you down the list again, or is there anything in particular? Are you looking for example, shiny clothes, weapons, etc.? Or are you looking at everything?
Kind of looking at everything, but trying to look specifically for, well, basically an weaponry or shiny clothing. Yeah, that's about it. So specifically searching for those items, but looking around for all the other things as well.
Okay. So having a little look around, you can see there are some very fancy bags. They're of all different shapes and sizes. There are some that you could probably carry. They'd probably be about half the size of you, but you could potentially pixie dust the bag along with you. You can see a helmet which has one antenna poking out the side of it. It is a human-sized helmet, unfortunately. You can see some very fancy necklaces and some very tiny, what would be rings for a human-sized hand, but they would fit you as necklaces. And you can see large strips of black fabric torn in different places, but they look very fancy, and as you look at it, the black seems to sort of ripple like an oil spill. And you can also see fancy robes with various different patches all over them. And you can see some very interesting staffs as well. And they range from tiny, which would be your size all the way up to human size. They're all lined up against the back wall, a bit like sunflowers. So there's like tiny ones, slightly less tiny ones, medium big ones, human-sized ones, huge ones.
And that's like staffs, right?
Mhm.
Staffs and staves. I'd like to ask Mr. Knickknack, I guess.
Yes!
Sir, what do these do? Are
Ah,
they just a show, or?
well, it depends. Are you a leader, young madam?
Yes. In several kinds.
Oh, a fancy leader, I see. Well, if you take this staff, and if it believes that you are truly leader-worthy, then it shall be attuned to you, and you shall have a staff of rulership.
And what would that do for me?
Why don't you buy one and find out?
Can I do an Arcana or History check or something to see if I know what these kinds of
Yeah,
things do?
do an Arcana check.
Arcana 17.
Okay. You've heard of similar sort of things. You've heard of staffs for great leaders, and you were once told the tale of a great and noble pixie who derived a staff from the bark of a very old and ancient oak tree, but once it was imbued with magic, it attuned to him, and this pixie went on to lead many wars, and some said that he could hold the staff up and command enemies to follow him.
Ooh. Remembering that story, I'm gonna ask him, so, how much?
How much would you offer me for it?
Well, I could start at 10 gold.
20.
15?
17.
16.
16 and a silver.
I do have this magical tiny silver.
Are you going to get it out?
Yeah.
Oh! Give me that, and I'll give it you for 14 gold.
Deal. And I give
Alright.
him one of the pixie silvers and, the 14 gold.
Okay.
Turns that to... Fuck math. 14 gold was it, right?
Yeah, it's 14, yeah. So you now have a rulership staff. Bless you.
Hey then? She said bless you. So, I did the maths on my gold.
Okay. So you have a rulership staff. It's a little bit taller than you are, but it's quite light. If you were monk-like and agile, you could twirl it around your head. It's not too heavy. It has a tiny, tiny, tiny pink gem in the end of it.
Ooh.
And once you have had it for a whole day, and you have not let go of it, and you have not put it down, and you've completely attuned to it over the course of one day, when you show it to a creature, when you brandish it at a creature that is an enemy, that is within 60 feet of you, the enemy must do a wisdom save with a DC of 18, or they will serve you for the next 12 hours.
Oh, wow. Nice. I'd also like to ask him about the black fabric.
Oh, this I acquired when the palace guards apprehended some trespassers who were trying to steal some of the royal jewels. Apparently, it's how they were planning to make off with well, more items than they could possibly carry between the three of them.
Wait, so this helps them carry lots of stuff?
Apparently, this, and he points, he's got three of them, and they're all a little bit tattered, but he sort of strokes one and says, this, you use it to scoop up anything you like, and you can carry up to 10 times your own body weight.
That could be useful.
Of course, no offence, but 10 times your own body weight, miss, isn't actually that much.
Yeah, fair.
But then platinum isn't that big, is it?
Oh, you mean these? I pull out like 5 platinum coins and I put them in my bag of holding. And then I go, hey, Indy, Belgarath, Arissa, is this stuff something for you guys? It apparently helps you be really strong in carrying stuff.
Strong or useful?
Well, as in carrying a lot of stuff, which is useful when we find a place with lots of gold, like we did last time.
True enough. Eddie's going to look across at the shopkeep and go, and how much?
How much would you give me for it? I can sell you all 3 or just 1.
Eddie's going to frown a bit. I'd give you 10 gold pieces each.
Considering how much gold you can carry in them, I'm going to need something more like 50 gold per piece.
30 gold each.
Make a persuasion check.
Can do. Yeah, and persuasion is... And the +4, so that's 22. Not natural, but close.
$100 gold, and I'll give you all 3.
She's going to give the sweetest smile and go, and we can call that a deal.
He sort of smiles at you with one of those. It's a warm smile, but his eyes aren't as warm as his mouth. Dad! And like reaches out to shake your hand.
She'll shake it.
It's kind of knobbly. You can feel all the calluses on his skin. Some scars. Smells a little bit like burning acid, but shakes your hand. And then he hops down off the stool and climbs haphazardly up a pile of books to unhook all 3 of them. 1! And he balls it up into a ball and chucks it down to you. Pulls the other one down. 2! Throws it to you. Make sure you don't get caught in it! And he pulls down the other one. And 3. And he drops it down to you.
Yep. And she'll catch them and start to attach them to her belt. Before glancing around at the others. And would either of you two like one? She's going to direct that at Belgarath and Arissa.
I think Arissa's kind of having a conversation with Lady Airrill, who's flown over to her. And
if Indy doesn't get a reaction, she'll just try and attach her.
Indy now has all the gold.
So yeah, because Airrill flew over to Arissa and asked for a dress shopping advice.
Yeah.
I'm vaguely... I don't think Arissa's noticed that Airrill is a woman now. She's just like, let's go shopping. She doesn't care that a man wants to wear a dress. And it's for some good old shopping. Exactly.
Cool. I'd
Arissa would
appreciate
also
your
know there are dress shops and dress tailors in the town as well.
I appreciate the help.
She's I think the only issue she'd have is the fact that Airrill is so tiny. Let's get you to a tailor.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Do you want to buy anything here before we go?
Oh, no, I was told never to buy anything from Knuckles.
Why not?
I don't know, nobody ever explained to me, but
But
I think I'd rather just go.
okay.
Arissa will just kind of go, we're going dress shopping, and then start skipping out the store.
Bye, Mr. Knuckles.
Bye, small pixie! So, Belgarath and Indy, would you like to follow them dress shopping, or would you like to continue looking in Knuckles' knickknacks?
Indy's happy enough with what she's got so far, and she's going to nod to the gnome and then turn and leave.
Cool. So, Belgarath, looking around the shop, there are
I
bags,
I
glitter.
don't have any particular need of a dress, so I think I'm good.
Did you want to continue to look around this shop while they're off then?
No, I think I'm good. I don't really need any.
So where are you going?
Okie doke. Where would you like to go in town? There are festival things being set up. Some of the games are getting ready. You've got taverns, you've got various different things. There's libraries, there are places you can eat, cafes, lots of different things going on. There are stalls, there's food, etc, etc. What would you like to do?
I guess grab something to eat and then head to the library.
Okay.
Nerd!
I was a hermit for most of my life. These crowds of people... Belgarath's attitude to large crowds suspiciously mimics my own in that I don't like them and I want to get away from them.
If it makes you feel any better, Belgarath, these crowds are mostly gnomes, so it is like having half the amount of people around.
That's worse. That's like being stuck in a knee-high swarm.
That's easy though. You can give him knees to the face to make way for you.
Yeah, but then they just get angry.
Then you didn't knee him hard enough.
Have you ever tried wading through a crowd of mid?
Can't really say that I have.
I feel like you're about to say yes.
Also, I'd be
It's
concerned.
harder than you think.
I'd be concerned what the pixie would consider a midget.
Oh god. A very small ant.
Do pixies have like pixie midgets that are like?
Probably
About-
like pixies who are born far too small to be allowed, and yeah. But yes. Alright, so Belgarath, what sort of food would you like? There is literally everything. You can follow your nose. There is sweets, like for want of a modern word, I'm gonna say similar to churros, like things that have been cooked in like hot batter that's been cooked and covered in sugar, and you can have it made into
I
any
would
shape
like
that you would
something
like.
Spicy.
Spicy. Okay, you have got steak that's being cooked over an open barbecue, which is like underneath a sort of gap which leads to the outside world through a gust of wind outside. You've got super hot. You've got like proper hardcore looking gnomes who look like they dig in mines all day. They're like covered in black soot and their hands are all knobbly, and they are chowing down on in these bowls of soup, and you can see their eyes and their faces going bright red and their hair standing on end while they're eating them.
That sounds perfect. I need to get my fires.
Okay. Belgarath goes to get his fire back. Okay. If you would like to purchase a bowl of chili soup, then you can buy it. It's only 3... I've forgotten the word for money. I was about to say 3 coin, but that doesn't really help you.
No, I need the actual metal that the coin is.
1 silver.
I will pay 1 silver for a bowl of the hottest they got.
It comes with a warning. That's why I crossed it out. It wasn't 3. It's 1 silver. It costs that much because it comes with a warning that you have to agree to and sign that basically says that if it quite literally blows your head off, if you have any discomfort, any vomiting, diarrhea, any internal hemorrhaging or bleeding, the shop owner and the chef are not responsible.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay.
I'm literally descended from dragons. I think I'll be okay.
Alright, could you do me a constitution save, please, as you chow down onto this bowl of soup?
Do I get any kind of... what's the word?
Advantage?
Yes, advantage due to my dragon blood and also the fact that I am a fire mage.
For such well-rounded arguments, I will say yes, you may have an advantage. Oh, this is the most accurate one yet.
Sorry.
For our millions of listeners, I'm about to share the most epic savage meme.
No, you should be proud of this one. This is nothing to be sorry of.
No, this is literally not something to be sorry about. So yeah, Belgarath, yes, you have advantage because you made such well-rounded arguments. I'm naming it Savage Meme.
I was just thinking that is some next level savagery right there.
Just gonna leave that meme there for a little while. Let it simmer. There we go. 17 Constitution. Okay, so Belgarath, you get about halfway through. You're given quite a small spoon, so it takes you a little while. A sort of hulking gnome next to you sort of shuffles up, plonks his own soup bowl down, starts to chow into his, looks up at you as you're about to take your first mouthful and goes, "Take it easy, son," and starts inhaling his. But you go for it, and immediately it strikes you as quite pleasant. For a second you think you've been tricked because it tastes quite sweet, almost like a shot of sambuca. And the first bit hits you that's quite sweet, and it's like that, stays that way for a while, sort of a creamy texture. It's a sort of bright red soup with various vegetables and things in it. You find some noodles floating around and some meat. Not quite sure what it is, but it's chewy and it's alright. It all goes down. Get to halfway through the bowl, and the back of your throat starts to go, ooh. You take a deep breath and you sort of cough a little bit. And it doesn't hit you as much as it could do, but a plume of red smoke comes shooting out of your mouth when you cough. And the gnome next to you sort of claps you on the back and goes, "Ah! Doing well. Go on, finish it then." And him and his mate are leaning over the table watching you, ready to finish it. Would you like to finish your bowl?
Hell yeah, I'll finish it.
Okay, do us another Constitution save with advantage this time as well. Hello, John. Come up. Hello. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, that reminds me, Arissa, good boy. Would you like to bring him shopping with you, or would you like to leave him at the palace?
Bring him with me.
Okay.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. And he is taller than most of the gnomes, so you're causing quite a stir. 17 again. All right. You finish your bowl. You set it down, wipe your mouth, smack your lips. You do not cough anymore. You feel very warm and toasty on your insides. Sort of runs all the way down your throat, past your lungs, which feel nice and warm as well. And there's a comfy sort of fire blaze going on in your stomach. You have a slight mental thought, which is that this must be what it feels like to be a dragon. Huh. And you sort of raise an eyebrow and look back at the gnomes. Ha! And they all sort of look at you. Impressed! A few of them. Alright, human boy!
I'm not human, I'm a half-elf.
All the same height to us, laddie.
It's not all the same. Would it be acceptable for me to call you a goblin?
The entire table like roars with laughter, and some of them fall off. Some of them fall off their chairs. Touche, alright, fair enough. Half-elf boy. And they sort of pretend to bow in your direction. Still, jolly well done.
I kind of wave my hand in a mock regal kind of way, just kind of going along with their bowing thing and say, "No, thank you very much."
They all laugh. And did you want to head to the library now, or did you want to go for anything else?
Do I still have Caspian with me?
Yes, you do.
Well, does he want anything?
He's sort of staring around in wide-eyed wonderment. Oh. And he says... I'm just gonna save that, because that's a thing, and it's lovely. Caspian thinks, and he says, is there going to be a wedding? And is that a special occasion?
Yes, it is. There's going to be a wedding for the prince and Arissa's ex-boyfriend.
That's not what it is.
You're not here, Arissa.
No, I know. But it's still not what it is.
Belgarath knows that, but does not care.
Well, do I have to look fancy, or am I fancy enough as I am?
Well, I'd say a small dragon like yourself is going to be pretty impressive by yourself, but I mean, do you want to dress up for the occasion?
I'd quite like a nice hat.
You want a hat? We can get you a hat.
I don't have a lot of gold to pay for such things. Do you think these
That's
people
fine, I can get
accept
it.
favours?
I mean, they probably would, but I can pay for a hat for you. That's no problem.
Oh, that's very kind of you. But I don't want to interrupt what you'd like to do. Where are you heading?
It's fine. I'm sure there'll be a tailor on the way to the library. We can pop in, grab you a top hat and a monocle, apparently, and then head on to the library.
Oh, okay. I'd like to go to a library. What's that?
I think we'll start walking, and I'll walk and talk. Well, it's usually a big place. Can be a small place, but it's a place where books are kept and gathered, and you can go there and you can read the books.
Oh, I read some books once. I got kind of bored of them though. demons don't tend to have a lot of reading material in their treasure hoards. They tend to just burn books.
Well, that's a crying shame, because books are the best things in the world.
You think? I thought gold was the best thing in the world.
Well, gold is good, but it depends what you value, I guess.
So what do books give you, apart from things to read?
Well, books give you knowledge. You can learn things from books. You can find out new things that you didn't.
Really? Could I learn
Yeah,
why?
you can find.
Could I learn why I was born a tiny dragon and not a big dragon?
I mean, maybe if we can find a book on. If we can find a book about dragons, we might be able to find that.
Do you think I could ever be a big dragon?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really know that much about dragons. So I don't know. That could be something we can look up if you.
Oh, all right. But let's get my hat first, though. I don't want to look silly at the wedding.
Right, we can go get you a hat.
Alright, so you two go in search of the world's tiniest top hat.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get. I have to with complete sadness. I have to take down the Belgarath has been here meme. Ready to put up the next beautiful meme. So you guys head around. Belgarath, could you do me a investigation check to hunt for a tailor?
Sorry, what kind of check?
Investigation. There we go. Caspian, right now. Duh. I think he keeps accidentally getting cuter every time I voice him.
Yep.
I can only apologise. Okay.
It's 7, so I feel like I'm going to miss the shot completely.
Well, you have a look around and walking right past the shop that has a picture of a sewing needle and thread outside, walking past another one which has reams of fabric outside the window, and walking past yet another one which has robes for every occasion, fit for royalty.
Hold on a minute.
Outside.
I failed 1 investigation check and I missed 3 shots. That doesn't seem fair.
Well, you're very engrossed in conversation about books, and Caspian is being very cute. However, you do walk into Taylor's, which upon entry turns out to be a bar.
I'm sorry, I walk into what? Sorry?
You walk into Taylor's, which when you walk in turns out to be a bar. It has the word Taylor's outside. It is Taylor's bar.
Ah, well, that's unhelpful.
Is this where you buy hats from? I like his hat. Caspian sort of points a little clawed finger at the barman, who's wearing a sort of like a flat cap with a big peak, and peers over at you. What can I get you, chaps?
Is it possible to shrink the hat with prestidigitation?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to use prestidigitation to shrink the man's hat, and I'll say I'll give you 1 silver piece for that.
The gnome looks at you. Huh? Feels on top of his head. What? Where? Huh? And looks at the tiny little hat in his hand. Scratches his head. I don't know. Maybe it shrunk in the wash or something. Sure, 1 silver.
Okay, I give him the silver and I take the tiny hat.
Okay. Are you going to give it to Caspian?
Well, yes, I thought that went without saying.
I don't know, you might have been gonna wear it yourself and be mean to him or something. I don't know, Belgarath. I don't know, man. I don't know. So plonk it on Caspian's head.
Why would I be mean to my little dragon buddy? Of course I'm going to give him the little hat.
You give Caspian the little hat, and and he sort of readjusts it. It's now at a very jaunty angle so that it fits nicely over one of his ears, and he looks at you with big anime eyes and just goes, "Do I look all right?"
What kind of hat is it, incident?
It is a flat cap, like a sort of farmer hat, sort of made of a crisscrossing pattern, sort of maroonish colour, with like little yellow, a bit like tartan, like deep maroon tartan with yellow stripes, and it's got like a tiny little peak.
Splendid. Yeah, okay. I know what to imagine. Yes, it looks very stylish and quite sophisticated, actually.
Oh, I don't think I've ever been sophisticated before. Is that good for a wedding?
Yes, it is.
Cool. All right, let's go to the library now.
Library, and yes, we shall.
Library.
Yes.
That doesn't mean the books tell lies, does it? And he looks really worried now.
I mean, some books are fictional, but it's usually clear which ones are. You know what? I'll show you when we get there.
Okay. And you guys wander off. I won't make you investigate in perception to find the library. It is quite an impressive building, and you can sort of see it over the tops of a lot of the other streets, particularly as you're taller than most of the gnomes. So you guys head on off. Meanwhile, Indy, are you following Arissa and Airrill on their quest to find dresses?
She is tagging along.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay!
They head to the library. Okay, so meanwhile, the girls are out shopping. So Arissa, you lead the way. Would you like to go to the most prestigious, expensive, and very, very good seamstress and tailors in the whole of Regal? Would you like to go to a sort of more casual, laid-back dress shop, or would you go for a middle-of-the-road, bits of everything tailor dress shop?
Middle of the road.
Okie dokie.
Errol's just gonna sit on Arissa's shoulder and ask, "How much do dresses normally cost?"
Oh, well, they vary depending on the amount of fabric used, the quality of the fabric used, the complications of the dress, you know, if it's a simple dress or a really complicated dress. She just kind of babbles on about many.
Alright, you guys head on into a shop that's called Madeline's. And you see a lovely elderly gnome lady behind the counter. Arissa, you would know this is Lady Madeline. And she smiles at you all as you come through. Oh, welcome, welcome. What can I do for you today?
Hello, lovely lady.
Hello, lovely pixie.
Hello, Lady Madeline. We are looking for a dress for my pixie friend.
Oh, a dress for a pixie. I haven't done one of those in a while. What sort of style would you be looking for, me pet?
Well, I just bought this stuff. I'd like to match it with that so that I can bring the staff.
Oh, let's have a look. And she sort of holds a hand out for you to stand on so she can peer through her spectacles at this staff.
I'll step on her hand and make a little bow and then hold the staff forwards.
Oh, now you're really not making the most of your figure, lovey, with all those men's clothes.
Well, those were from a few days ago when I, wasn't this female yet.
Right. I won't ask, shall I, pet?
Well, it was weird magic, but that's about it. I don't really know more.
Oh, all magic is weird to me, pet. Now then, would you like it to match the pink in the staff and your lovely wings here?
If that's possible, I'd like to match that.
Now, Errol, remind me, your hair's bright pink, yes?
Yes.
Awesome. And your wings? We never established.
I did not really pick a color for the wings, so I'm assuming it'd be bright colors.
Okay. Do you want it to just be sort of like a rainbow effect of sort of like glittery wings?
Yeah, that seems cool.
Alrighty, cool. If you haven't got a set one in mind, then that's fine. Oh, yes. And she peers at you with her spectacles and goes, oh, well, we can match the little staff pink to your lovely hair and your little wings. Would you like the dress to sparkle, pet?
I think that's cool. I'm gonna look back to Arissa and I'm gonna go, what do you think? You know what looks good.
DM, does it look good?
If it matches pink and sparkly, they would probably go together quite well.
Because OC me is not very good at this.
I mean, I have no fashion sense. I just pick what I like. Basically, Arissa, if she matches the dress to the hair, it'll be bright pink and covered in glitter.
Let's not make the whole dress bright pink. Maybe use it as an accent colour.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Can we do that?
We could do that, lovely. Yes, we could. I tell you what, I've got this. And she carries you over and she tugs at a big round fabric machine in the wall. She's got loads of them all down one row. She's got all different colours and it's rolls of fabric, and when she pulls on a toggle, the fabric rolls and the next one comes forward, and it's all different shades of each fabric, so every single colour. And she's taking you towards a lovely silvery grey, and she tugs on it twice and it goes around to a sort of dark shimmering sky grey, and then the next one is a much paler it's sort of a bright silver, and it sort of shimmers a little bit. If you like, we could make most of the dress out of this one, and we could give you some pink petals on your skirt and just add a touch of glitter to the rest of it.
That sounds good.
Wonderful. Now, if you just, would you mind standing very still while I take your measurements, pet?
I'll try to stand as still as possible.
She'll pull out a tape measure and unfurl it and hold it up to you. And then she'll put the tape measure in her mouth, and with one hand still holding you, she'll write with a pencil on the desk on a piece of parchment on the other. And you sent me here. Yep. Inches. Would you mind putting this round your waist for me, lovely? And she hands you the tape measure.
Okay. And I try to, put it around my waist as she asked.
Just hold it still. Yep, lovely. And she takes down that measurement. And would you like sleeves or an open arm?
I think, let me ask her. She knows stuff. And I turn around to Arissa again, and I go, what do you think?
Arissa, who is just looking at the many, 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 many different colours, just kind of turns around and goes, what?
Oh, if I wanted sleeves on the dress or not.
Arissa ponders for a moment. Do you want sleeves?
I don't really know. I think maybe shorter sleeves would be good, but I don't think long sleeves would suit me.
How about something kind of in between? Like an elbow length?
That could work.
Perhaps she kind of wanders over to some grey lace. Or would that be a bit too much?
And because Arissa pointed it out, Airrill's actually going to go, I think that looks good. I mean, if you say so, you know stuff about this stuff.
Well, we can try it. We can always take them off if you don't like them.
Oh, that's true.
Is that okay, Lady Madeline?
Oh, I think it'll go just wonderful. You've got a very good eye, me dear. If you're ever fancying a job as one of me seamstresses, I'll give you an apprenticeship.
Arissa's very flattered. Considering she's used to making costume pieces and not actual fashion.
I'm just doing a quick sketch of this dress. It is... The sketch is not good. The sketch is not good, but the point will be made. So she sort of nods and says, "Oh yes, me dear, absolutely." Also, Arissa, you notice that she doesn't seem to recognise you.
Good.
Good. Also, excellent use of memes for people's. So she sets you down, says, "Just give me a few moments. Usually be an all-day job, but no offence, but there's not a lot of material to be working with."
I'm glad I can get the dress before the wedding. How much do I pay you?
Oh, I'll have to work that out when I'm done, and I'll add up all the fabric.
Okay.
Just give me half an hour. And she sits down and she does the fastest hand sewing either of you have ever seen. She just sort of pins it all, measures it, makes all the right adjustments, and then one side, done. The next bit, done. And then she's cutting out patterns. She's making big petal-shaped swoops for the skirt. And within half an hour, the whole dress is done. It's the size of, like, a fairy for a Christmas tree. There you go. That's my terrible, terrible drawing. It's got petals that are bright pink on the skirt, and then a beautiful silvery lace around the bottom. It's got the silvery lace sleeves that Arissa picked out, and the top is like a silvery little bodice thing as well. Half an hour later, with a pin still pinched between her teeth, she holds it up. "There you go, my lovely. Just try it on before I need to do any final adjustments." Takes the pin out of her mouth, puts it back in the bobby.
Airrill will start getting ready to switch into this dress.
"Oh, would you like to use me changing room?" And she pulls back a curtain on a very large changing room in the corner of the shop.
That's a good idea, maybe. With that, I'm going to quickly jump towards the changing room and fly there.
She pulls the big curtain shut for you. Says, "Just
Thank you.
let us know when you want to come out, lovely."
Okay. And I'm going to switch to the dress and then make a little... Is there something like a mirror there?
There's a large mirror. Also, the best meme. And now we all know why Indy was quiet for a while. She was concentrating. Indy has been making memes.
I'm going to turn towards... make a twirl before the mirror, and I'll go... Ooh. And then I'll fly towards the large curtain and I'll try to move it.
Give me a strength check.
That's gonna be a no.
What did you get?
My nat wand.
Ah! You tug and heave at this curtain. It's not budging. It's far too big and thick and heavy and velvety for you. In fact, because it's quite velvety, some of the strands of velvet are as long as your arm, and you end up sort of catching yourself in them and sort of spinning back through along the velvet, and it sends you sort of spinning back into the middle of the change. You go,
Whoa!
Upon hearing you shout in confusion, the shop lady, Madeline, comes over and she pulls back. She sort of pulls back a little bit of the curtain so she can call through. Everything all right in there, dearie?
Yeah, I just tried to let myself out of this changing room, but you have a very heavy curtain there.
Oh, I must apologise. I really should get a little pixie one installed for the occasional visitor. I'll let you out. And she pulls back the curtains. And Arissa and Indy, are you in the shop or waiting outside the shop making memes?
Indy is just going to be sort of leaning against the door.
Okay, so you can both see this. Lady Airrill comes out, resplendent in pink and silver glory, trails of glitter. When she twirls in the air, it sparkles and lights up in the light.
Wow.
With that, I'm going to fly over and I'm going to say, ooh, it's so pretty. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's not a problem at all, dearie. Will you be wanting any shoes or anything to go with it, or?
Oh, I think if that's possible, some matching shoes would be a good idea.
I could do you some silvery ballet slippers.
That could work.
I might have some, actually. Just come over here, would you? And she starts rummaging through a sort of like a shelf just behind the desk.
I fly towards the shelf.
On the shelf, she has lots and lots of small little dollies. And she starts looking around at them, looking to your feet and then at dolls. And then eventually she finds one. Ah, these might be just the right size. I made these last week because poor Dolly was barefoot. How about, and she unties these tiny little silver slip-on shoes. Try these two on, dearie. And she hands you these two tiny little shoes.
I immediately try them on.
Yeah, they fit you well enough. They don't have a lot of grip on the bottom, but as you fly everywhere anyway, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. If you go to stand anywhere, they are made of silk, so you would slip a little bit.
That's useful for dancing. And with that, I'm gonna go, yes, these look really good with it. Thank you. Now, of course, I need to pay you. How much would this cost?
Oh, all right. Yes, of course. Give me a moment. And she pulls a pencil out from behind her ear and starts scribbling. 2 inches of that. Half an inch of that. Slippers. Well, I can make more slippers. That'll just be 10 gold, pet.
I'm going to actually give her 16.
Oh, very nice. Oh, just 10 gold, dearie.
Yeah, but the rest is because you helped us so nice.
Oh, well, that's very nice of you, pet. Are you sure?
Yes, and I don't think money is really an issue.
Oh.
And of course, if you'd be okay for that, I'd like to travel here whenever I need royal attire for the kingdom as well.
Oh, of course. Would you like? Oh, and she's taken out a small business card, but then realised that it's almost the same size as you. Maybe you can just remember the name Madeline's.
I'm gonna scribble it on a little note and toss it into my bag of holding.
Now, would you like to wear the clothes out, or would you like me to wrap them for you?
Is it appropriate to wear the dress that I'm gonna wear to the wedding and everything already?
I don't see a problem with that. As long as it doesn't get too dirty, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's a week-long celebration, of course. Got to look our best, haven't we?
Yeah, that's a good point. And those manly clothes didn't really fit me.
Would you like me to dispose of them for you, or are you going to take the clothes with you?
Well, because it was magic, I might need to bring them.
All right, dearie. And she goes to the changing room and she scoops them up, folds them up as best she can and hands them to you. Do you have a bag for... Oh, of course you do.
And I pull the bag of holding open again. And
she gently tips them in.
Thank you.
She turns to Indy and Arissa. Now, would either of you be looking for another dress for the occasion, ladies?
Indy's just going to glance at her armour.
No, Indy.
We could make you something you could wear underneath as a nice little accent. You don't need to remove your armour to look lovely.
It is a wedding, Indy.
Arissa might need to roll persuasion, and she nuts it.
Indy will go to get kitted out.
Indy.
Arissa fist pumps. Yes!
This is the best day of Arissa's life. So Indy, as we didn't really discuss the boring bits such as hair colour and such, describe Indy in terms of not just class and background and race. What do you look like? What is your hair colour? What is going on in the world of Indy?
Well, her hair colour changes based on what type
Yes.
she is.
So what is she right now?
At the moment, I believe she is still in her spring form. So she has long blonde hair.
Awesome.
Looks like a very summery or spring elf, I should say, not summer.
Yeah. Cool.
So very fair complexion and very long blonde hair.
Now you're more of a sort of peaches and cream summery look, aren't you? Says Madeline. So we could get you some lovely pastel oranges, maybe a tiny touch of yellow. Don't want too much with your lovely hair though, do we? Any colours you favour, me dear?
She's just going to smile like somewhat sweetly and go, I'm happy to go with your choices.
Oh, lovely, right. And she sort of leads you over very enthusiastically and starts taking all of your measurements from the top of your head, your shoulders, under your armpits, around your waist, your legs, your ankles. Oh, let's have a look. Would you prefer flowing skirts so you can move?
That would be very much appreciated.
Sleeve or no sleeve?
No sleeves, thank you.
Alrighty then, dear. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you a little couplet that you can put around your wrist, and that can hold your skirt up if it gets too annoying for you. I used to do it when I was younger, and I used to spend all night dancing. Oh, where are we? Right. And she pulls down a load of fabric. She gets some like sunshine yellow, some orange, some tangerine, different colours, some very soft peach, and a tiny bit of pink. And she starts wrapping them around you and draping. Oh, yes, and I could just... Are you all right if we just pop you in the changing room, dearie? I'm going to need you with a bit less clothes on to pin it in place.
Sure enough. And she'll go on in. Quick question. The armour.
Mm-hmm.
It being cursed and all, can she actually remove?
No. So you get into the changing room. She says, right, so just take the armour off and we'll see what we're working with underneath here. Do you need a hand with the buckles?
She's going to go, yes, please. Especially when she starts struggling with it.
Okay. Madeline starts unbuckling. They unbuckle, but once it's all unbuckled, it refuses to disattach from your body. Oh, that's a bit unusual, isn't it? Is it meant to do that?
She's going to be staring at herself, going, no, it is not.
Oh. Is it because I'm here, do you think?
No, armour is not shy on that things.
Oh. I mean, I'm not sure what to suggest.
I am going to have to apologise. I will have to pass the dress.
Oh, now just hang on there, lovely. We can still work with this. If I can just... And she sort of cuts some fabric into some strips. And she sort of weaves it in. And she sort of manages to get up under the armour without taking it off. There, how about that? And she sort of spins you around to look in the mirror. And you've still got your armour on. But what she's managed to do is sort of where your belt is. She's managed to go under that and sort of attach different yards of fabric, so it makes a sort of like sweeping pattern round you. So you've got like a half skirt on each side, and then you've got one short piece attached to your wrist and a few little tufts out the top. So it almost looks like you're wearing a very fancy dress under the armour.
She's going to give a slight smile and go, I believe in the circumstances that will do.
Right. I tell you what, my dear, I won't charge you for the fabric, but on the condition that you promise me you'll go get this looked into forthwith, because cursed armour that that refuses to get off you, in any story I've ever read, doesn't sound good now, does it?
No, and I am not looking forward to finding out the consequences of this particular set.
Well, I'm very sorry about that, my dear, but as I say, take the, for want of a better word, dress, and get that looked into, will you? Let's head back out.
As soon as it's possible.
So she leads you back out into the shop floor so everyone can have a look.
Ooh.
Indy's going to look a little non-pleased at the moment.
What's wrong, Indy?
It appears this armor set does not wish to go anywhere.
But aren't you the one wearing it, and therefore the one controlling where it goes?
Under normal circumstances, that would be the case.
But it's not right now. Then, what can we do to solve this? Should
I
we
believe
check to a doctor?
there's nothing a doctor can do that I can't.
Are you sure? I mean, doctors are smart.
Be that as it may, I have my own abilities, and my goddess will back me.
Oh yeah, that fake goddess, right?
Oh, Airrill, you're small enough for her to punch, you know that.
Indy's just going to narrow her eyes at Airrill at that point and go, I would request that you never insult her again.
Indy, you feel your eyes get quite hot,
But
and Airrill, you notice Indy's eyes glow red and then change back to normal.
oh, okay. You have yourself a deal.
Appreciated.
Well, that got tense.
Indy's going to look across at Arissa and go, I believe you're the last to sort themselves out for this wedding.
Oh, I'm going to see what I've got still at home, and hopefully they'll still fit me.
Are you sure I can pay for you to get a nice dress as well? As a sort of thank you for helping me.
I don't know. I don't know if I have a particular role in the wedding just yet. And I don't know if there's anything in particular they want me to wear.
That is true.
So I would need to check with Rickard and Alison first. But thank you.
You're welcome. Well, where's Belgarath?
Probably somewhere out in those crowds. Not that he'll be hard to spot.
The benefit of hanging around with gnomes.
should we go find him, maybe?
We can do so.
First, though, I'm gonna let Onyx sniff the new dress and, like, figure out how I can ride Onyx while wearing this dress and new shoes.
You'd have to grip with your ankles rather than with your feet, but it's doable. The two of you sort of work it out as you're riding through the city in your magnificence, remembering how it felt to be a goddess, but also remembering how it felt to have the world go mad and shaking you all up from your head and going, maybe it's best to be neither.
Yeah, I'm not made to be a goddess yet. And with that, I'm gonna ride off toward, well, the cloud.
Alrighty, so you guys will head out of the dress up, and you are now out and about in the festival area. Would you like to go anywhere in particular? Would you like to hunt for Belgarath? What would you like to do?
Well, we have no clue where Belgarath is, so I'd assume Pixie will yell out, Belgarath!
You get no response. Indy follows, scowling, looking at her armour. Oh god, Vetheritas in the Tuesday group has to shout at his shield, and now Indy in the Sunday party is going to shout at her armour.
She might not be as successful if she does.
As you're looking at your armour, Indy, could you do me a perception check?
Can do.
Do we know what the armor does yet?
Out and in character, I don't believe you do know.
That's an 11.
Alright. You don't notice anything particularly different about it. It's quite dark. It's got the red encrusted jewels in it that are sort of shaped like rain droplets. Seems almost darker as you're looking at it, but that might be because you're very cross.
She's just going to frown and then keep following, muttering about, I need to take a rest at some point.
You need to take a rest? Maybe we can go to a tavern.
Well, if you want to spend a few hours in a tavern, sure enough.
Well, there's booze and party and maybe a bit of dancing, so I can learn how to dance like a lady, and there's all kinds of opportunity.
Sure enough. Which tavern shall we go to then?
That's a good question. Shall we go to all of them?
All of the taverns.
We'll just start a pub crawl.
So Indy's going to look around for the nearest tavern.
You spot one fairly close by, not Taylor's. You spot another one. This one's called Old Mix.
So Indy's just going to gesture towards it and go, well, there's the for alcoholic adventures.
Arissa, do you want to go to the tavern as well? We can dance there.
Sure.
And with that, Airrill's gonna wander into the tavern.
As soon as they've gone in, Indy's just going to find the nearest spot that's relatively empty and park herself down and start trancing.
While Indy's doing that, Airrill's gonna find out if there's any music and then go and dance.
There is lively music playing from one corner where a violinist and a couple of other people in the band are playing. There's one on a guitar and one on a flute.
Errol's gonna start dancing and just generally enjoying herself.
Alrighty. And Arissa, what would you like to do?
I'll see if I can teach Airrill any formal ballroom dancing.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So Arissa, do a performance check, and Airrill, do a performance check.
What one? The word between do a and fell away.
Performance, both of you.
That would be 12.
19.
Okay. Arissa is pretty much flawless.
Isn't she always?
Yeah.
Oh, you boys.
You manage to keep up with her, Airrill. But translating the moves down and while you're flying is trickier than you thought. And you learn the basics of when to step forward, when to move back. You're still struggling on remembering that you're a girl and therefore do not lead.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'll dance along with what Arissa's doing and just playing to her. Like, you're a girl now, you're a girl now, you're a girl now. Just repeating it to himself as well, herself as well.
So how long would you like to trance for Indy?
As long as you can, but it would be up to 4 hours for.
Alrighty, you guys happy to hang in the tavern for 4 hours?
I am just trying to dance and, like, Airrill would enjoy herself.
Alrighty, you guys hang out, and 4 hours pass. Let me just close this. There we go. Okay, so you guys spend 4 happy hours in the tavern. Are you going to be drinking or just dancing? Are you going to be drunk by the time Indy wakes up?
Airrill will take a few drinks, but like to see if she gets drunk, I think that's up to you.
Arissa feels a strange aversion to alcohol.
Don't you want to drink as well?
I don't think I should.
Why not?
I don't know, just something feels wrong about it.
Maybe in that case something non-alcoholic.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
I'm gonna fly over to the man, I guess, or is it barmaid?
There's both. There's barmaids wandering around, and there's bartenders behind the bar.
I'll fly to the bartenders and I'll... Hey, can I get something to drink for me and my friend over there? She doesn't drink any alcohol at the moment, though, so if you have anything without alcohol, that would be very nice.
Almost every gnome in the bar at hearing the phrase "doesn't drink alcohol" stops. And there is a sudden silence. Even the violinist in the corner sort of stops playing and looks around like, huh?
Arissa looks kind of embarrassed.
I'm sorry, Arissa. Wasn't meant to embarrass you, just wanted to get you a nice drink.
mean, we've got fruit cordial we keep for the little uns. The barkeeper calls over.
I guess you should pour her one of those then, as long as it doesn't have alcohol. It's
No alcohol. Wouldn't get little uns alcohol unless they really wouldn't shut up.
okay. And then for me, just what is your favorite shot?
You feeling brave?
Yes.
Alright. And Arissa. So, if you can stomach this, both your drinks are on me. And he brings you over a tiny thimble-sized cup full of a clear liquid. Puts it down in front of you and pushes over a mug of sort of like fruity juice as well. And then leans on the bar and watches you, Airrill.
Do I drink it as a shot or sip it? What's the deal here?
If you can finish it in under 30 seconds, yes, exactly that. Drinks are on the house.
I shoot it just straight down the hatch.
Alright, do me a constitution save.
21.
You bastard! Alright. This seemingly harmless clear liquid goes down. It tingles. You can feel it.
Nice.
You feel it tingle all down your bones. First, it sort of lights up your jawline, and then your shoulders, and all down your spine like a big quiver, like someone's brushed you with a feather. And then you feel all the way down your arms to your fingertips, and you wiggle your toes, and you feel yourself start to giggle. And you can't stop giggling for about 20 minutes. But nothing bad happens at all. And the barkeeper's like staring at you and then just gives a big roar, and the rest of the tavern go, "Way to go, little pixie!" And they all sort of clap at you and they all raise their drinks. Hey! And you get both drinks on the house.
Woo! Could I get another one?
Same again.
Yes. I'm gonna tempt fate.
Alright. The barkeeper pours you another one. Alright. Now this one's on the house because I want to see what happens.
19.
Alright. Still giggling. You sort of drink the next one. And between your giggles, you manage to drink this one. And again, your whole body tingles. You feel an impulsion to kick in front of you and wave your arms in the air. And this time the giggles turn into hiccups. But still, no harm done. The barkeeper's now staring at you like, "This is incredible! Way to go, little pixie, you're something else, you are." And he like holds out his fist to give you a high five.
I give him a high five and then I fly over. Sabut.
Alright, Arissa, you have some very nice, essentially kids' fruit juice. You've basically been given a Ribena.
Yum.
And
At least it's tasty.
Airrill, you have hiccups for another 5 minutes.
Am I also still giggling or is it just
No,
hiccups?
the giggles have subsided into hiccups.
Okay, good.
So you can roleplay that if you like. You spend a happy 4 hours until Indy wakes up. Meanwhile, I will jump to Belgarath at the library because I would assume after a couple of hours at the library. Well, how long would you like to spend at the library before you go hunting for your fellows, Belgarath?
Well, what time is it?
Mid-afternoon.
I mean, I'd probably be researching new spells and helping Caspian find out why he's a small dragon, so I guess we'd stay there for as long as that took.
Alrighty. Spells you have looked at out of character. So we'll just say, yeah, you spend a couple of hours, you peruse some spell aisles. You're directed by some very nice elderly gnome librarians who look like they are wizards, and they sort of point you towards a section that is enclosed at the back in a sort of tower section towards the back end of the library. Now, how would you like to look for books on dragons? Are you just going to ask for books on dragons, or are you going to look for anything in particular?
I mean, do they have like a magical creatures section or something like that?
They do, yeah. You are pointed towards the highest room at the top, which has a huge set of bookshelves out on the front. There's large windows that run from the ground floor up to the top floor, and all of these shelves look out over the city.
All right, I tell Caspian to have a look around the shelves, look out for anything which involves the words dragon or genealogy.
He sort of flutters away and then comes back 5 minutes later going, What's a genealogy?
It basically means like bloodlines and families and history.
Right, gotcha. Okay. And he sort of flutters off. Are you going to wait for him, or are you going to have a look as well?
I'll have a look as well.
Alright, do an investigation check. And I will do one for little Caspian. Okay, 15. Alright, between the two of you, you managed to compile a quite large pile of about 10 different books. Some of them on just the different breeds of dragons and how to spot them, some on how to care for them, some on how to kill them, some on how to run away from them and survive an encounter, some on where they are most likely to be found in the world, and some on the genealogy of dragons and their ancestry dating through to the sorcerer and dragonborn.
Okay, so I think we can toss aside these books about dragon hunting and stuff, because I don't think that's going to be what we need to know.
No, I don't want to read a book on how to kill me, thanks.
No, quite right. Okay, well, the dragon genealogy seems like a good place to start. What colour scales does Caspian have?
They are blue and gold.
Okay, so gold dragons are typically fire types, while blue are usually lightning types, so we want to be looking in that sort of area.
Okay. Does that mean I can breathe lightning?
I mean, you might be able to, yeah.
And he just tries to breathe out lightning and just ends up blowing the biggest raspberry.
Caspian, out of curiosity, how old are you?
7.
7, right. I need to first find out how long dragons typically live for.
Well, I suppose it's until they get killed by people trying to steal all their gold.
That was an out-of-character question there, Rosie. I was asking how long dragons live and how long it takes for them to reach maturity.
Across all of the books, it varies. Some can be hundreds and thousands of years, some only a few. They seem to hint that the smaller the dragon is, the less their life expectancy is, and for one as tiny as Caspian, the life expectancy would be less than that of your average human.
Oh, right, so is Caspian fully grown?
well, the average life expectancy is between 30 and 50 years for such a tiny dragon. By the age of 7, even the largest of dragons wouldn't be fully grown yet, but they would definitely have gone beyond infancy. So if he's going to grow any more, it's unlikely that he'll be anything other than a small dragon. And that's at a stretch. He's currently a tiny dragon. Like the same sort of size as Airrill the pixie. So if he has got any more growing to do, he'll probably not be any bigger than maybe 3 foot.
I thought Airrill was smaller than that. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, Airrill, how tall is Airrill right now?
8 inches.
So right now, Caspian, height-wise, is the same height as Airrill. Like if he's sitting up, then that's how tall he is. But lengthways, he's longer than Airrill is tall. Does that make sense?
No, not at all.
Okay, so if Caspian sits up, so he like sits like a dog with his head in the air and he sits on all fours, he's about 8 or 9 inches high. But when he's walking or flying, from his nose to his tail, he's just under a foot.
Fucking hell, how long's his tail?
Really quite long.
Fair enough. Okay. So, cut a long story short, do we find anything that indicates why Caspian is a little dragon, or why little dragon?
What was that last bit you cut out?
I mean, do we find out the answer to Caspian's question on why he's a little dragon?
As far as you can tell, he's a little dragon because he is born of a little dragon and another little dragon. Potentially a small and a tiny dragon, potentially 2 tiny dragons. Potentially he could be a very, very, very tiny child of 2 small dragons. It is unlikely his parents were any bigger than small, unless he is a complete runt of a litter. Can't completely rule that one out, but it is very, very rare. Lineage is correct, so the lightning and the fire dragon. But so far he's not showing any signs of being able to use either of those abilities.
I see. Okay, so does that answer your question?
So, I was always meant to be a small dragon, and I'm not going to be as big as the dragons that are in the pictures.
I don't think so, no.
I'd quite like to be a big dragon.
I mean, if it helps, I'm never going to be that big either.
Really? But you're so much bigger than me.
Yeah, but this is as big as I'm going to get.
How old are you?
That's an excellent question. I've completely forgotten.
I'm going to take that as in character.
I mean, yeah, you can do, because I've lost the bit on my character sheet that tells me how old I am. So, I mean, that is a Belgarath thing to say, so I'm just going
Let's go with that. Oh. Do you think you're younger than me?
What, am I younger than 7? No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I was definitely 18 when I killed my father.
You what?
What? I thought you knew that.
This is Caspian talking now.
I know.
No, I don't think you told me that bit.
Ah, well, he was a very bad man. He had it coming.
Oh.
He had it coming. He had it coming.
Caspian narrows his eyes and peers at you, Belgarath. Now, Belgarath, I have a question for you. Belgarath,
Okay.
you can tell Caspian is casting a spell on you. Would you like to attempt to resist it, or would you like to allow him to cast his spell on you?
I think I'm going to counterspell it and ask him what he's trying to cast.
Okay. You counterspell. What level?
Well, I mean, counterspell is a level 3 spell, so level 3, I guess.
Okay. Yes, you managed to counterspell, no problem. Seems the spell he was using was lower than that. And he keeps his eyes narrowed and he says, I was just going to find out if you're telling me the truth.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't mind you doing that. You can... Do you want to do the spelling?
Well, I don't have a lot of magic, but I don't suppose I'll need it again for the rest of today, so... Alright. And he sort of, gives you a, face, and he narrows his eyes and he peers at you. And as you don't resist this time, you feel the wash of a spell. Have you got Zone of Truth or similar, Belgarath? I don't think you have, do you?
I do not.
Okay, so this spell is unfamiliar to you. You feel it sort of wash over you, and you feel a compulsion to speak the truth when you're speaking to this little dragon. You're just looking into his face, and you just think, well, I couldn't lie to this little dragon. And he keeps his eyes narrowed at you, and he says, was your father a bad man?
Well, he raped my mother, abandoned us, and this event led my mother to go slowly insane, abandoning me and then killing herself. So, yes, I would say so.
The little dragon blinks a few times and then drops the spell on you. I don't think I want to talk about that anymore, but I believe you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we could have this little moment.
Can we not have any more little moments, please?
Sure, if you like. Why don't you tell me about your parents? That's probably a nicer and happier topic.
I don't really remember. I know I had a mother. I think I had a father. He was big and blue. But I only remember seeing him flying a lot. And then one day he wasn't there. And then my mother went to look for him. She was gold and shiny. And then she never came back either. And the only thing I had left was my hoard. So I protected it. And then they started burning down the forest where we lived. So I had to take my hoard and hide. And then someone tried to take my hoard. So I had to go with it. And I protected it. And then I ended up being snatched in a big sack by a horned creature, and then I was in the vault in the bottom of the palace where you found me.
Yeah, so we were both left behind by our parents.
I'm sorry, Belgarath.
It's okay. Well, we've got each other now, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah. So, is that like you're my new mom?
How about we go with brother?
Oh. What's a brother?
It's when you have the same parents and your family.
He looks confused, but... So, we're family?
Yeah, if you like.
Okay. We should probably get you a matching hat then, seeing as we are family.
I mean, I don't think I could pull off a hat like that, but I appreciate the offer.
Alright. So, shall we go find everyone else then? And then we can tell them about how we're brothers, and we can show them my hat. And he sort of shakes his head looking all fancy and give you a smile.
Yes, let's do that.
Do you know where they went?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Well, they should be easy to spot because they're all quite tall and everyone here is quite small. Although I'm also quite small, but I can fly, so that makes me seem like I am taller.
Yes, indeed. I think if we ask around for the only 5 people higher than 3 foot around this city, I think we'll probably be able to find it.
Okay. So, you guys head out of the library. Asking around, you are indeed very easily pointed to Old Mick's Tavern, where you arrive just in time for Indy to wake up from her nap. Airrill is surrounded by adoring gnomes, and they're all chivvying, just one more, please, we'll pay, do it, please!
Okay.
And Arissa
What
is
the hell's going on here?
sat with them as well, and occasionally getting compliments on her choice of friends. Yes, you guys walk in.
Okay, so I'll lean over Indy and just go, morning there. You look like you guys are having a good time.
I'm presuming it's roughly around this time Indy wakes up.
Yeah.
Right, yo. I'm presuming that the effects of the armour kick.
Yes.
Rightio. She's actually going to wake up screaming.
Wow, I haven't seen that since my mum. You okay?
That's the best sentence I've ever heard.
She's not quite worked out that you're there at the minute, Belgarath, and she is just screaming in rage. And as you're watching, you see her hair start to light up and change colour, and she's churning into a redhead.
I take one step backwards.
It takes
Can I look around for the rest of the group so I can see Airrill's on the bar? Is Arissa there, or is she already? Did she go back to the castle?
I'm still here.
Okay. Is Arissa also surrounded by people, or what's going on there?
She's in with the crowd, and yes, you can take another shot that is bought for you. While Indy's pulling herself together and talking to Belgarath, do another Constitution for me.
17.
Okay, this one hits you a little bit, but again, not too hard. You're tingling. You've got the giggles again, though.
Okay, I'm going to ask Caspian if he can fly over in the crowd and grab the pixie or the strumpet to come and tell me what's going on.
The pixie or the strumpet.
Because Indy it seems to be having some sort of episode.
I take it that I'm being abducted by this dragon now then? Does he?
Directed by the dragon.
I'm being abducted by the dragon.
I've sent Caspian over to grab
Yes.
one of them. So
Yeah, Caspian sort of flutters down beside you as you're sort of giggling and sort of circles round you and sort of goes, you're kind of needed over here? If that's okay.
Hey, little one, shall I follow you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he leads you back over. The whole time he's chatting about how him and Belgarath are brothers now, and he wants to get Belgarath a matching hat, but Belgarath said no. But do you like his hat? But isn't it pretty? But do you like his hat?
Oh, your hat is so pretty. You should get one. Here, I'll
Maybe.
even pay for it.
maybe you can help me persuade him to wear it. But he wants to talk to you, and I think Indy's hurt herself. I'm not sure.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It'll be fine. No, just fly over to them, giggling all the way. Hello, Half Dragon Man. Garrett, that was directed at you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. I think the sound popped out there.
Airrill flew
What
over.
did you say?
Airrill flew over following Caspian, and then he went, "Hello, Half Dragon Man. I heard you're brothers now."
Yes, we kind of reached that conclusion. Do you know what's going on with Slim, Angry, and Shouty over here?
Wait, wasn't she blonde? It must be the armor. She was upset with her because it wouldn't let go of her, and then now she slept, and then suddenly she's a redhead. She was blonde before. What's going on? Indy, and then
Would Belgarath be able to suss from this that she's wearing a cursed item?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was stupid.
What was stupid? Are you calling me stupid?
No, not you. Indeed, she's put on a cursed item.
Oh, that's not smart. Have
No,
you ever
no,
worn
it
a
isn't.
Cursed item?
What, sorry?
Have you ever worn a cursed item? Well, you're smart.
Well, I mean, my eyes were kind of a curse, but I was born with those. But item? No, I've never put on a cursed item.
If your eyes are cursed, I can help you with that. And Errol's gonna pull out Summon Dance, his 2 scimitars.
Indy,
Yep.
could you please do me a charisma save with disadvantage
Oh shit.
because you've been wearing it for a while?
You-
Belgarath,
you're
if
attuned to
you
this cursed
want-
item.
Belgarath, if you want, you can do an Arcana check.
Oh, that could have gone better.
And I can't check. Hold on. I need to find my deets.
That will be an 11 on the save.
Okay. You cast your remove curse spell. The armour glows deep red. You try to pull it off. It won't budge. And you can now not attempt to cast the spell on the armour again for 48 hours.
Let me just double check that. Yeah. For anyone that actually understands Elvish, she is now just screaming in Elvish.
I understand Elvish.
Hey, I understand Elvish too. Why are you screaming in me?
To clarify, Indy, for 48 hours, you think you want to remove the curse, but you cannot bring yourself to do it. Something is literally changing your mind every time.
Are you wearing sentient cursed armor?
She's staring at her hands and glares across her fingers and then up at Airrill.
Hello. I giggle a bit and then give it a wave.
Belgarath, do you want to jump into the Bothwell chat? Hello.
Hello, what's up?
Hello. Well, you did a fairly decent Arcana check, so I can tell you some things about the cursed armor. So
Okay, is this out of character knowledge or in character knowledge?
it's in character knowledge because it was Belgarath who rolled it well. It is up to you whether you tell him.
Okay.
Tell Indy, sorry. So it is cursed. It has definitely attuned itself to Indy. And if she attempts to remove the curse, it could cause more damage. So far it seems like she's been lucky and it has just refrained from her doing it. You notice that there are more red droplet gemstones on the armour than there were when she first put it on. And you notice that
Hang on, I wasn't there when she first put it on, was I?
You were in the hoard under the palace, so yes.
Oh, that's where it was. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And it's sort of like bedecked. They don't seem to be in any particular pattern. It almost looks like splashes of paint or blood. But they are red jewels. They're sort of like rubies encrusted into it. But again, not in a particular pattern. However, there are definitely more of them. And because you rolled so well on the Arcana check, I will say that you notice that they have appeared since you have been fighting creatures. So more red droplet things. Well, they're like rubies, but they're shaped like droplets. More of them have appeared on the armour. Essentially, the more blood Indy has shed in combat, the more has appeared on her armour.
Okay, noted.
And she woke up screaming. You're going to work on a sort of 90% certainty that may have something to do with the armour as well. But you're not 100% sure what without asking her what she's screaming about. But you're like 90% sure that's to do with the armour.
Right, okay. I understand.
Cool. Alrighty. Up to you how much you share. But yes. Alright, so jump back in. And I'll see you in a moment.
Jump back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Okay, so after noticing something about Indy's armour, I turn to Airrill and say, grab Arissa, we need to leave now.
Okay. And I fly over to Arissa and I go, hey, Belgarath says we should go. Something's up with Indy and we kind of don't want to anger this whole tavern, I guess.
Shouldn't we try and help?
Well, I don't really know what Belgarath is planning, but he may be planning to help her.
Okay.
And with that, I'm going to take one more bow above the crowd and I'll go, bye guys, see you next time for more shots.
Oh! The whole crowd sort of looks disappointed. But they welcome you back and say, anytime, little pixie, anytime!
Indy's going to stalk across the bar.
They all actively, like, you hear stools shuffle out of the way. They all look at their drinks and continue chattering to themselves.
And she's going to look across at the three of them. It's like, and where are you?
I need to go
Sorry,
get my dress.
You stand cut out there. Hang on, I missed what you said there, Glyn.
Indy's just stalked across the bar and looked at the three of you and said, and where are you going?
And Arissa replied with, she needs to go choose a dress.
No, we're leaving. All of us, including Indy. We need to go. As in, we, all of us, leave now. Leave this bar. Go.
What's gotten into you? We were having
I will
fun.
explain once we have gone. So, go.
But, okay.
Indy's going to glare at Errol. It's like, move now.
Arissa scopes out completely nonchalant.
Alright, Belgarath, where are you going to lead everyone to?
Is there a back alley or something?
Yeah, there is just behind Old Mixed Tavern. There's like a sort of back alley where there's like bins and old barrels and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go there.
I'll be giggling as I fly along.
All right. You arrive in the back alley.
Right. So, how long have we known that that thing that Indy's wearing is cursed?
Well, I only found out when you told me.
Indy?
And the first I worked it out was today.
Right.
If you remember, I did mention that it may be cursed at the time. Says a tiny little Caspian voice from behind Belgarath's ear.
Indy's just going to glare at the dragon. There is a difference between maybe and actually.
He just sort of squeaks.
I give Caspian like a little reassuring stroke on the back of the head. And we'll just be like, well, the maybe is now definitely a definitely. I don't know what you're wearing is very, very not good. What, Glyn, what were you screaming in Elvish? I missed what you said.
A long string of swear words when she realized wasn't able to remove the curse.
Ah,
So
I
just
see.
Pretty much the alphabet of swearing.
Gotcha. Right. So, one thing that I've noticed, Indy, is that the blood drop decor of your armor, there seems to be more of it now than there was when you first put it on.
Wonderful, and that means?
It means that something that you've done since then may have increased the strength of the curse. Given that it's a blood drop decor, I'm going to think that blood has got something to do with this.
Did we kill anyone since you put it on?
She just glances across at Airrill. You've been with me the entire time. I'm pretty certain you can count our body count.
Well, to be honest, a lot has changed, and I'm really sure.
As far as I
If-
understand, since we left the demon realm, not slain any.
If I were to put some money on this from my studies into curses, I would say it's more likely that it will be the amount of blood shed by the wearer that will be fueling the armor, rather than the amount of blood that's been spilt by the.
Okay, so it's whenever Indy gets hurt that it gets stronger.
I would guess so, yes.
Indy, you should probably stand at the back of the fight next time.
She's just going to look at the pixie and go, and what, you are going to be the one to stand in front of me?
Yes.
No, that won't work. In any encounter we've been in, Indy has been the strong one who takes the brunt of the damage. If we lose that, I'm powerful, but I am not a warrior. You are a pixie, and Arissa is Arissa.
Beautiful. I'm so happy you went with that.
And
We are not
Enna
from-
pipes up at the back and goes, and I'm okay towards the back.
I could go up to the front. I am specifically trained in that stuff.
Pixie, that may be as it may be, but if someone throws something at you, they're more likely to hit everybody behind you.
I can stop stuff. That's what my magic is.
I would like to see you stop a volley.
Okay.
Let's not get into a dick measuring contest, especially with what's recently happened to Airrill.
I believe there is no one for you to compete with in that matter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Anyway, the important thing here is you are wearing a cursed item that is going to increase in power anytime you bleed and anytime you try to remove it. What we need is someone who specializes in.
You mean like a cleric?
Yep, a cleric will probably be the way to go. I mean, I did recently learn telekinesis, but I'm fairly certain that will probably not.
Do we know any clerics?
You're staring at one.
Well, could you try to lift the curse?
That's as may be.
Pixie, what
Indeed,
do
but
you think I
would have thought
just
that.
did?
I don't know. It didn't remove the curse, so if your cleric learned how to remove curses.
And it resisted.
Ah.
Yes, I think I think it should have been obvious that when I said we need a cleric, it was more than implied that we need a different cleric than you because you're clearly not cutting.
Indy's going to look across at Belgarath now and go, and if you would like to find a cleric that is intermediate...
Are there any clerics that...
Sorry, I missed all of that.
And if you can find a cleric that isn't going to immediately lynch us all if they work out who I...
Sorry, Glenn, could you type it? You keep cutting.
Yep.
Yep, that's going to be the tricky bit. Unfortunately, short of using my new telekinetic powers to try and pull that armor off you, I don't know what other options we have.
Trust me, if I get desperate, I will try even more absurd measures than that.
Right, so cleric or, I mean, would maybe a priest would be able to do the job?
Whoever we can find, and worst case scenario, if they find out, I may, if we get the elements of surprise, be able to convince them.
Do you know any other gods that you can act as if you follow them without insulting Urfel? Because if not, you can always follow Urthar because she's very strong and powerful.
Well, surely if we don't just act like jackasses and say, oh, yeah, here's a cleric of Urfeld, would you mind healing her? We should probably be able to get away with this.
Well, her armor is decorated with blood.
Well, we could say that we could say that she's not very bright and she just picked it up on a dungeon quest. We don't have to tell them that she's a cleric in the surface of Earth.
True, and it wouldn't even be a lie. Airrill's actually going to flinch away from Indy as she says that.
Well, it's your call, Indy. We can go for a cleric and you just act like a idiot who picked up some shiny armor, or I guess I can try and pull it off.
Try now, and failing that, we find the damn cleric.
Alrighty. Rosie, I'm going to be attempting telekinesis on the curse.
I mean, sure. Let me just...
Anyone else getting that? Shit's about to go horrendously wrong.
No?
Yep.
No? Don't know what you're talking about. Couldn't possibly...
Right, I'm just going
Couldn't possibly
to
say.
reread the rules on
I am doing that as well. Telekinesis. Okay, one action, range 60 feet, concentration up to 10 minutes. Gain the ability to move or manipulate creatures or objects by thought when you cast a spell. As your action each round for the duration, you can exert your will on one creature or object that you see within range, causing the appropriate effect below. You can affect the same target twice, blah, 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 blah. Object. You can try to move an object that weighs up to 1,000 £. That includes the armour. If the object isn't being worn or carried, automatically move it so it's being worn. You must make an ability check with your spellcasting ability contested by that creature's strength check. That will not be you, Indy. That will be the armour itself. So I will roll for that.
Oh, good.
So Belgarath, do essentially essentially do a as if you were casting a spell. Do like an attack, and I will do a strength
Okay,
check.
give me one.
I will do another check by the arm.
Just double check I've actually got stuff for this.
Roll to strip the elf. Okay. That's interesting. We will finish soon to anyone who needs to go to bed. Don't panic. Alright. So, Belgarath, you and the armour at the moment...
Feeling like Magneto at the moment.
you and the armour at the moment are fairly evenly matched. Your desire to lift it and the armour's desire to stay very close fitting to form to Indy. The armour stays where it is. Indy, however, is pulled up into the air in the direction that you were attempting to pull the armour.
God, is the armor all one piece? I thought it was like a breastplate sort of thing.
Lots of bits of pieces. It's like a full suit, so it's in bits of pieces. But the cursed armour acts as one item. So if you can aim for one piece of it or all of it at once. I mean, I would say like you can move a suit of armour if you want to try and do it like it's a suit of armour, or you can try one piece. If you'd like to aim for one particular piece, which piece would you like to aim for?
Well, I mean, moving one suit of armour would just be picking Indy up, so that's not going to do fuck all.
Well, with telekinesis you could potentially try and, move it outwards. But yeah, if you want. So what piece would you like to aim for?
I guess probably the breastplate or something like that, if I can, like, pull off.
Okay.
I mean, is it like a breastplate, or is it like a cuirass which goes all the way around?
No. It comes in pieces. So it's like a front and a back, straps down each side, shoulder pieces, arm pieces, leg pieces down to the knee.
Okay, in that case, I'm pulling off the breastplate.
Okay. So, you focus...
Don't take this the wrong way, Indy.
You focus, the breastplate sort of like quivers a tiny little bit, like a ripple runs across it. And Indy, grab your hands. Indy, you feel a pressure on your ribs, beneath your skin, on your rib cage, as if someone was trying to rip them from inside of you. It hurts quite a lot. The armor's resisting you, Belgarath. It's like pulling against a really strong magnet. And as you sort of lock on and try harder, in its attempts to stay on the body, Indy, you feel the chest piece sort of lurch forwards and down, but it taking you with it. So still attached to the armor, you feel a sudden stabbing sensation in sort of like your navel area, as the tip of the breastplate has sort of dug into you as you started to be doubled over. And you also feel a crack around your rib area, and blood starts pouring down the side of the breastplate.
She's going to scream in pain at that and immediately drop a word of radiance and rage.
Oh, what?
She's going to be casting word of radiance and rage.
Okay, what does that do?
That will be everyone doing a constitution check and taking d6 of radiant damage.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Who's in range? Is that everybody?
Yep, basically anything she can see.
Oh shit.
Okay. What's the DC on the Constitution check?
That'd be an 18.
Oh, dang.
Oh yeah, now I'm failing constitution checks.
Don't worry. It's only,
Oh, Arissa. Oh, my honey. Oh,
Nat one.
Airrill with your nat 1. Good lord.
that's all right. It's only 1 radiant damage. She's not concentrating very much right now.
Ow, that kind of hurt. Right, I think I'm going to pack in the telekinesis because I think it's quite clear it's not working.
Why would you do that? Let's find a good cleric, one that's actually able to remove curses.
Hey, I gave her the option.
Yeah,
She said try the telekinesis. I was just doing what she said.
Yeah, okay, and she looks scary at the moment, so I guess you have a good argument. But Indy, why the fuck would you not just go to a cleric that actually might be able to remove this curse?
DM, do I know of a cleric?
You know that there are some small temples dedicated to some of the minor gods. And there would be clerics in those, yes.
And anyone who may be able
Just going to make a quick joke about the fact that the the only clerics in the Gnomish city are the minor deities.
Could everybody also please do me a perception check?
Oh,
15.
Perception is 27.
it's perception. Perception came as an 8, so that is. All right, math.
Mark safe from Indy today. I love it. Alright, Arissa, Belgarath, Lady Airrill, and all of you. As you look at the blood dripping down the side of Indy, you feel along 4 of your ribs that a wound has opened up. The cracking was your ribs cracking a little bit as if they tried to be pulled free of your skin. And you've now got 4 like long wounds along where the ribs are.
I'm presuming she took damage from that.
You did. You took. Where's that dice? I covered it on. You took 22 points of slashing damage from that. Essentially slashing from the inside, so internal slashing damage. And you all notice that there are, well, to be exact, 22 new blood droplet jewels that have appeared across various places on the armour.
Ah, right. Yeah, definitely made things worse there.
Obviously so.
I would like to cast Healing Word.
I think we should maybe not do anything more until we know a bit more about this. I think we should just find the cleric.
Was I asking you for permission?
No,
Enough
you were about to do something stupid, and I was telling you why you shouldn't do that.
Are you going to cast it on Indy, Arissa?
Yes.
Okay, you cast Healing Word.
All right, but if you kill her, then it's your fault.
It's instantaneous. Creature of your choice you see within range regains hit points equal to 1d4 plus your spellcasting ability modifier.
Cool, so roll the d4, Arissa.
Regain 7 hit points.
Okay.
I don't even know how many you lost.
A lot more than that.
Just trying.
Indy, you feel the 4 wounds stop dripping and start to scab over. And you regain 7 hit points. Nothing else happens.
She nods at Arissa. Appreciated. So let's go try and find the one cleric in town that's not.
Well, yeah. Also, you're welcome. I just wanted to make sure you didn't keep bleeding.
Alright, so you guys decide to go and hunt for a cleric who will not kill you upon sight. And on that cheerful note, that's where we will leave it.
Yay.
To those of you who are not in the UK, I apologise it ran a little late. It was getting entertaining. Is all I can say.
It really was entertaining.
Also, for the rest of the duration of Indy being Red Indy, Caspian is going to be hiding on Belgarath's shoulder on the opposite side to wherever the red scary lady is.
To be fair, Airrill is somewhat tempted to hide behind Arissa's hair as well.
Mental note: angry Indy more often.
Alrighty. XP wise, stay on the same as we discussed earlier. That can just be by the end of this section. You're on that, so you're all on 50,000, level 9.
That's a nice number.
That's a nice round number. We will continue from there, and I will make better notes in future. So, those of you who are and aren't in the UK, bugger off to bed. But before that, I will turn the recording off so you can all shout Tatty Bear or any other swear words you would like to shout, such as I hate curses, etc., etc., fuck you, DM, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, the DM says Tatty Bear. Everyone else can say whatever they like. So, Tatty Bear, everybody.
Tatty Bear.
Hi.